Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. I am a master nutritionist, quantum energy healer, and functional blood work specialist. And my favorite season is fall. So I love when it's fall and I get to talk about it and all the great stuff. So last week I talked about the Switch Witch, which is fantastic. So this week I want to talk a little bit about some of the ways that we can, heal through this time, through nature. Um, it's really a time of transformation. We see the leaves falling. We go from the hot summer sun to a warm sun, cooler air. So there are all kinds of ways that we can embrace this for this transition that we have into winter and releasing things that are not serving us and warm our bodies. And we talked about warming our bodies with all the pumpkin spices and stuff a couple weeks ago too. So, ooh, there's like a little bug in here. Oh. Okay. So also I got a new desk chair. I'm so excited about this. It's one of the ones that's like real wide, so you can sit crisscross applesauce, and it's pink, and I'm just like absolutely tickled over it. So, you know, sometimes I think being an adult is stupid, but then again, I mean, a cool new chair, I mean, that could really be life changing. Okay. So, like I said, we've got cooler air, we got gorgeous, vibrant leaves. Now, I am seeing a lot of beautiful leaves here in North Idaho, especially in town. They have a lot of beautiful trees planted. So they do grow here. We do have predominantly pine trees, which do change as well. Some of them do change to this pretty yellow color. But we do have a lot of beautiful colors still, and just like the fantastic smell of leaves and like somebody's fire burning somewhere off in the distance. It's just wonderful. I know I was leaving gymnastics class with my daughter last night, and we walked outside, and I was like, oh, it smells like fall. It was just wonderful. But so we have, like I said, the cool air, the vibrant, beautiful leaves, this sense of transition, and we can absolutely harness this to support our own reflection and grounding and healing. Okay. So let's start with that cool air. All right. So I'm going to go through a couple different things that we can do. And I also have a recipe that I'm going to share with you. I'll do my best to share it with you here. Okay. So this cool air. So first of all, this is really great for deeper breathing. Now, of course, when it gets like frigid cold in the winter, deep breaths kind of, it can kind of take your breath away. But this cooler air does encourage wonderful deep breathing. And that really does calm the nervous system very well. So we can embrace that. It'll help with energy clearing and with resetting. I know I've explained before. I've told you guys before, but I think I've said it on the podcast. I'm trying to remember, but you put one hand over your heart center and the other hand over the other hand, and just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, or in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then, so you take your 3 deep breaths, and you could even make them a little bit longer and deeper. But then you switch your hands and do it again. And that actually completely resets your nervous system. So to do that outside where the air is cooler, and you're able to take in these really deep, wonderful breaths, that really can help to boost your mental clarity as well as calm and reset your nervous system. It's excellent for your immune health, which, that's always a big thing too. And of course, your vitality. So, you want to connect to yourself, you want to connect to nature and be present in the moment, which is so difficult to do. We're always, like we're always in the past or in the future in our minds, right? So that brings me to our next one, which, so nature walks. Okay. Now, you can take a nature walk around your neighborhood. There's no reason not to, right? I mean, you'll be able to, if you're in an area where the leaves are falling, you will be able to hear and feel the crunch of the leaves underneath your feet. You'll be able to see the beautiful colors of the leaves. You can take in the smells of autumn. You'll feel the cooler air on your skin, but also the warm sun. It's quite warm in the sun during this time of year. Sometimes, I mean, maybe you'll want to go barefoot and get grounded, but a nature walk can be absolutely amazing. The other thing that I love to do in the fall is hike, and I really hope that I get to get on one sometime soon. When you're in the busy of everything, sometimes, like I mean, I could go outside and just kind of go on a hike near my house almost at any time. And we've done that. Uh, but there are some absolutely gorgeous hikes around here. A couple years ago, my husband and I were out here. It was before we moved here, and we came out here. We were taking care of some stuff, and it was over our anniversary, which is actually this Friday. And we I think it was our 13th anniversary. I'm not sure. So, and we're celebrating 16 years this Friday. So on our 13th, we came out here without the kids, and we were staying at an Airbnb, and we decided to go on a hike for our anniversary. So we went on this hike up this mountain, and for the life of me, I'm not going to remember the name of the mountain right now, but that's okay. But it was beautiful from the top, and we didn't see anyone else on this hike until we were hiking back down, and I think we only saw like two people. There's a lot more cars like at the trailhead than that, but from the top of this mountain, we could see Idaho, but we could also see Montana, Washington, and Canada from up there. So it was absolutely beautiful. We were the only two at the top of this like fantastic mountain. And just the two of us, we decided to say some vow renewals right up at the top there. It was just such a fantastic, refreshing. I mean, it was wonderful just to be with my husband like that, without the kids after all these years and, getting out there on a hike. And I didn't used to hike. Like he would go on hikes with friends. And I was like, I'm not going out on a hike. And then, I transformed into this completely different holistic person. So he was all excited that I wanted to go. But yeah, it was absolutely wonderful, and it's hard to describe just how fantastic you feel after something like that. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and hike like a mountain. I mean, it wasn't it was strenuous, but it wasn't, insane. There's always a trail and everything like that. But it was just, I mean, the amount of grounding and how you feel at the end of the day, and then you get that deep sleep and you have like this hunger, but you want like real food, and it's just, I mean, the way that it just like fills your soul is just amazing. So I cannot recommend getting out and doing something like that in nature enough. It's similar to the feeling that you would get after being grounded out on the beach all day in the summer. Okay, so all these different seasons, we have these different times, but I like to go hiking in the fall because you're going to see a lot of beautiful colors, but it's cooler, and it's when you go in the spring, at least around here, you're going to run into snow left over and stuff like that. So, and then you get into the summer most of the time. I mean, I've gone hiking here and had it be July and there's still snow up there. But yeah, it's just fantastic to go in the fall and see all of the colors, and it's cooler. I mean, you still breaking a sweat, you're still it's quite warm in the sun and everything, but it's just really good. You usually have like really nice weather, to go on a fall hike. I just love the cooler, crisp, but it still gets nice and warm, but then it's chilly at night. So something like that is great. And of course, another type of walk would just be to take a gratitude walk. So, just being present in the moment and understand, not even just understanding what you're looking at, but just walking around and making sure that you're, being present and looking at the different scenery around, like I've already mentioned, but also thinking about some things that you were grateful for. And I know sometimes it can be difficult to think of things that you're grateful for, especially if you're somebody who has trouble like saying thank you and accepting compliments. And of course, that's a trauma response. Usually that's something that's going on much deeper down. But being able to just stop and take a moment to be thankful for the things that you have, and that you enjoy and that you are absolutely thankful for. So letting go. So, of course, the falling leaves are going to represent letting go. And, whenever you're going through any kind of a transitionary period, whether you're going into, getting into the winter, or, getting you have a new job, you're going to have a new baby, you're in a new house, or got a new sweater. I don't know. But there's new things happening in your life all the time. And most of the time, it does require us to let a certain aspect of something go so that we feel comfortable embracing this new aspect of yourself or your life. So it's a natural process, just like, you see the leaves fall down off the trees. That is a natural process. Like that's something that happens every year with the deciduous trees. So naturally, we need to be letting things go as well. And sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. Things get really stuck down inside of us. And it can be difficult to dig it up at times. But so for years, as many of you know, I have been doing emotion code for oh my gosh, I've been doing it for like 6 years now, I believe. And so that is a wonderful way to just kind of identify and acknowledge and release some things that are weighing down on you, emotional baggage. And there are things all over the place lodged within your body. It's just, when you have an emotion, if you don't feel it all the way through, it's going to get stuck somewhere. That's just how it works. And it happens to all of us. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not like you didn't feel through your emotion enough. It's like, this isn't placing a blame on anybody, but it's just something that happens. And then, of course, that manifests physically because your spiritual body was here first, so it holds the blueprints for your physical body. So if you've got gunk in your spiritual body, you're going to have gunk in your physical body. So emotion code is a really wonderful spot to start off with that, and then you do want to get further into some limiting beliefs and core traumas and all of these things. You really want to be able to do a spiritual renewal. You don't necessarily have to do this every single year. You don't have to be really focused on it every single fall, but this is a really great time to do that. So stay tuned because I have a fantastic program coming out very soon, and it's going to tackle this, and it's freaking amazing. Oh my God, it's so freaking amazing. So that's going to be great. Because spiritual renewal, and you can do it any time of year, honestly. It's something that you can always constantly be working on. For me, this weather in the fall energizes me, helps me to feel more creative, and I get the feeling in the springtime as well. Um, so another thing that you can do for letting go, and this can be kind of fun, is you can write down some things that you want to be able to let go. And it can really be anything. And you don't have to tell anybody what it is. You're just going to write down these things. Maybe it's beliefs that you have about yourself. Maybe it's a belief that you have about money. Like money is difficult to make and you have to work really hard to make money. Or, something like, I'm doomed to be sick because my family members are all sick, which is not true, by the way. Your genetics don't determine biology. The genes don't determine biology. In like 5% of people, it does. That's about it. If you have like a birth defect, if you will, with your DNA, the rest of us, genes do not affect your. They don't determine your biology. So writing down limiting beliefs about your health, or writing down a belief that if you eat pie at Thanksgiving, you're going to gain 10 pounds. Maybe you want to write down that you want to let beliefs like that go that have been following you around. And if you believe them, they become true. So, whatever it is, maybe, whatever it is that you want to let go, maybe it is excess anger. Maybe really, it's whatever you want to let go. Write it on a piece of paper and then you can fold it up. You can decide to burn it bonfire outside or carefully over a candle. Please don't set anything on fire other than the paper, or you can bury it. You can bury it outside. And that is just symbolic of letting those things go, giving them back to the earth, giving them back, just, letting them go where they're going to be best to go. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, so it has to go somewhere. So you just want to send it off so that it can be reappropriated in the way that's going to be the best good for everybody. So that's another way to do that as well. So that's fantastic. Okay. So now, space in your home, if you want to set up, we decorate for fall, or some of us do. If you don't, that's okay. But decorating for fall, bringing in some of nature. Sometimes, like I do have like, the cute little like fake pumpkins and leaves and stuff around and everything, but you can bring in beautiful leaves from outside. You can set them up with some candles and some pine cones and kind of set up a little fall altar, if you will. But it's just to bring the energy inside to remind you to have the reflection at this time, this transitional period here, just to remind you to have that. So that's a really beautiful thing to do. Even if you're just, if you're decorating your mantle above your fireplace for each season, you're already doing this in a matter, and especially if it's bringing you joy, because the intention is to bring others joy and it brings you joy, and you've put happiness into that, and then that's going to help you with good reflection, and you're going to smile when you look at it, and let's do that. Let's smile more. Okay. So, of course, there's for healing through nature foods this time of year. And of course, we talked a little bit about the pumpkin spice and how, the different spices are very good for detox. And, so they're serving a purpose. We eat the foods that we eat during this time of year and all times of year for a reason. I mean, now we pretty much have things available to us whenever we want, through the magic of airplanes and, things like that, and shipping things from all over. But there are seasonal foods, and they can be different depending on where you are. Um, so root vegetables are very seasonal right now, and they are very, very grounding. And they grow in the earth. So, of course, they're going to be grounding. Of course, they're also packed with nutrients. So, those are things like, potatoes, sweet potatoes, beets, carrots, turnips, rutabaga, and then, you do have like your cruciferous vegetables that tend to harvest very well in the fall as well. And yeah, but these things that grow in the earth, those are extra grounding for you, and those can really just help. That's why, especially when they're put into a broth, into a stew or something like that, it just warms your entire body. And that's what you want to do, is warm your body at the core when it's getting colder outside. And then in the summer, we want to cool down the core because it's hot as blazes outside. So I'm going to share a recipe. So I have been making this for, oh my gosh, I've been making it for years. I think I've been making it since before I had my kids, because I think I remember like posting about it or something when the girls were, 2 or something like that, saying, I made my annual soup, and the girls gobbled it up. They loved it. So this is, I mean, I don't have like a fancy name for it. It's cauliflower rutabaga soup. And so what I do is I take, wash off the cauliflower and, chop it up. And, you don't have to like chop it into too small of pieces or anything, but just chop it up. And your rutabaga. So you're going to want to wash and peel that and then chop that up. That can be a little bit more a little bit more difficult. Those bad boys are pretty hard, but they are delicious. So slice that up. And then I throw it into a pot. I put in some onions and garlic, probably some sage, thyme, parsley. I kind of go for whatever I've got in, on hand. And that is going to sound yummy. And throw that in there, salt and pepper. And so you can choose, you can do a vegetable broth. Or you can do a chicken stock or a beef stock. I usually have, like chicken stock, bone broth, I usually have something like that. You can buy a bone broth at the store, or you can make it yourself. I like to have some in the freezer. I think I actually need to make some more. I'm running low. But so I usually, most of the time, I've done it with vegetable. Most of the time I use chicken. So I'll do, the chicken bone broth in there. So you're just going to you throw everything in the pot, okay? And let's see, it's going to be like a medium head of cauliflower, and then like a medium, like, I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, you can see like my hand, like the rutabagas. Rutabagas can be like tiny, they can be kind of small, like a turnip, or they can get pretty big. So you just have to figure out like which size you want to work with. If anything, I sometimes would go for like two smaller ones or like a medium sized one, just because it's easier to cut than the giant one. Sometimes when they're like really big, because those things are hard, like I said, sometimes I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I might need my husband to cut through it. And that happens with squashes too. If you got like a butternut squash or something like a big spaghetti squash, sometimes I have trouble getting those chopped in half. But anyway, so you have your cauliflower, your rutabaga, your onions and garlic, and all of your seasonings, your salt and pepper, and your broth in the pot. You want to make sure that your vegetables are all nice and covered in there, and then you're going to slow simmer it. Okay, you're going to slow simmer it. And once everything is nice and super soft, so you can do one of two things. You can either, take it out and put it into a blender to puree it, or you can use an immersion blender. I have an immersion blender, so I love that. I have done it the other way too, but the immersion blender is great. You just get in there and, and puree it all up, and then you have this soup. So then you have, the option. You could add a little bit of heavy cream to it to give it a creaminess. It's great even by itself. You're going to want to make sure it has enough salt and pepper. It's actually really easy. I mean, aside from chopping up all the stuff and putting it in the pot, especially if you have an immersion blender, it's a really easy soup to make. It keeps well in the fridge, and you could freeze it too, and you can serve it up with whatever you want. You can make sandwiches with it. You can serve it up with roast. It can be a first course for Thanksgiving or whatever. But it's really good, and I've always liked it. And it's kind of scary to some people because they're like, "Oh, I don't know, cauliflower and rhubarb. I don't know if I like those things." But I'm telling you, when you put them together and then you puree it all up and everything, like it's really good. Like people who are like, "No, I don't really like cauliflower by itself." They're still like, "Oh, okay, this is pretty good." So it's just a really good fall soup, and it has those root vegetables, it has that bone broth, those it's going to have the herbs that you want in there, that your seasonal herbs that you're getting fresh, and the cauliflower is in season as well. So like that, it's just really, really heartwarming. It just warms your soul. So please enjoy that. Let me know if you make it. Okay. So yeah, I think that's about all I have for you guys today. I hope that you are enjoying the fall weather. I hope that it is that the heat is breaking wherever you are, and that you are enjoying the beautiful scenery wherever you are, and that you get to go to some fall fests. Maybe you're pumpkin picking, maybe you're carving pumpkins, maybe you're whatever you love to do. Maybe you're going to a corn maze or something. Whatever it is that you love to do, just remember to be present, remember to stay grounded, remember to appreciate all of the things that nature does give us, that we have at our disposal. We have right there, so that we can use to better ourselves, use to help us transition into this cold season that we're coming into, if you're in an area where the cold season comes along. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you came here to nourish your roots with me at Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner, and if you would like to book an emotion code session, since we talked about that today, head on over to my website, deeprootedwellnessid.com, and you can schedule an appointment right there, or you can buy a 3 or a 6-pack. Okay. And get yourself right onto my schedule. I can't wait to help you out there. And stay tuned for my new program that's going to be launching very soon. I'm so excited about this. This is amazing. And if you would like to download my resource guide, you're going to go to jess.deeprootedwellnessid.com/resources. And if it's not working, just capitalize the R in resources, and then that should get you right there. And that's going to have all of my free PDFs. It's going to have a bunch of my favorite things on there, so that you can, see what kind of shopping you can do. It's got, yeah, like I said, all my free PDFs. Everything's there. It's all there. So go ahead and grab that. And I wish you all of the autumn blessings. I will be back to record another one next week, and I can't wait to see you back here. All right. Bye for now. Love you guys.